Another son and I'm 30.
Them I'm 50.
I'm 50. Anyways, oh my.
Many.
No way.
Many na. I don't care beat me. Bravo. And 50 years now. Unyanya with us. Dog, good morning.
Okay. Catch a dog so message.
Dog, my own message. No.
Okay.
Video no cry.
Dog, the video evidence account.
As I attach video. And here when Xabi and person make cancer for
yeah, video. Also, me find channel say yeah, cause we find out. Me find video evidence no ma.
Baby, I'm on na mempe.
See any
na nkran na.
Any ka say pe
as a conference line no a.
No dey see dia
kran kofo bo PG bo Real Madrid e bo Dortmund.
Na say dey
Chelsea boy yes say team be dey say ai Palmeiras so sama we no team.
Na we see boys no mu nim bo na Chelsea nya de na Chelsea.
No, omo level no dey mo timi ahye omo.
Hey.
No. Palmeiras no me say omo dey say why?
No see Benfica create ni show.
Benfica. So team na Barcelona the 10 against 11. Oh, Dalu.
Na say Barcelona.
Dalu om sha omo.
Na nye wana say nye Chelsea
enye team biaza. Nye team. Baby amone nam na na mani nye obat. Anyway, my dear Mabura semi final.
Either Paris Saint-Germain
or last stop any. Last stop any. Mun kubi.
Nye team go final.
Just where I call final.
The 4 minutes be Chelsea. Can you use your sample?
Unim bibia dada.
But say Muse Sakura be say be man na.
Agina be. Enko.
Yeni komo.
Okay.
My some very interesting observations. Especially so in Madrid in your statue. And Emi Desena Gabi be read na one onona mudi san komono about Ada Gule or Xabi Alonso Bayern. There have been about 3 or 4 players there. It looks as if said the new Real Madrid is going to be on them. In fact, I think that the new Real Madrid is a 2-man attack, not a 3-man attack. I will explain. Yabo, the quarterfinals now we're in the final for Elko. So we know that Madrid are going to the semi-final against Paris Saint-Germain. So Oshe Paris Saint-Germain game versus Bayern. No more than. And regardless of how good Bayern were on the day, still Paris Saint-Germain points from 2-0, even after going out by 2 men.
Against 11.
Yes, me can say and yet it all didn't come after the 9 against 11 there, but then in the general context of the game, a 9 against 11, and you give credit to Paris Saint-Germain for. But Rich, say what's your Madrid this season? Me who say Minsruna Meka, Rich. This is the most balanced Madrid team amehu. As compared to all throughout under Carlo Ancelotti. And my emphasis is on balance. And I did back when when Carlo Ancelotti was there was that the Madrid team they don't have balance. And almost every time, I don't know coach me didn't come out. I did back everything for you to get in any team is how to get a balance of the team. Balance on the ball, balance off the ball. How Xabi Alonso used to orient you, man, you know, I am very interested, and I think we should look at it. In games about this season, from the game against Al Hilal, then the next one against Salzburg, Monia, you could tell say, they are trying to play in a particular way. So the first starting pair was Hartson, and a bench friend Raul Asensio. And Raul come here mistakes, CBD, red card, and the were film. In that game, the 2 center backs in Bioma. Now a bench friend orange many ever be as a deep line playmaker. As the first phase deep line playmaker, as a lone 6. But with time, as the season kept on going on, Rich, so she not game now against Dortmund. A team me and of the year build up. At some point in time, it was Rudiger as the central center back, and a bench friend Dean Hudson was at the left center back. Then he pushed a bench friend Trent Alexander-Arnold as the right center back in build up. And so Abraham Madrid ever talk Trent, you know. I never call a cancer Trent and the Beckham Madrid team no was the ability to help in build up. Because Trent shot passing, the creative ability, the deep line playmaking on me. So even when he inverts or he's part of the back three, he does that job well. In this annotation, so what join us on Facebook, In the first phase, you know, now orange many any better friend Ada Gule. Oya Madrid ni afashe team said the baby for Xabi Alonso, Ada Gule. Ada will play. There is another baby for Xabi Alonso, but I don't know a better day for Xabi to play him. Gonzalo Garcia. A better day. It means that Obabona he has to play either Vinicius and Gonzalo or play Mbappe and Gonzalo, because like Mecano, Madrid has a future in a two-man attack, whether with a 5-back, with a 3-back, or with a 4-back. It looks like it's a two-man attack, and Xabi Alonso going for it. Gonzalo Garcia boy no only hold up play no ball. Otimi jibo no tono boso. Otimi echema attackers ne ba jibo ni bibo ebo komani. And was something in go ne say. Once the other boys, Vinicius Junior, Kylian Mbappe are also there. It's any money bedding. And for other Gule, he looks like he's the guy. Now Madrid the Jumana has the creative job ma be jinane na so. Ombambe jibo in the house spacing creative. Ombran centrally Kakras Orient Chimeni Babe come back 4 no man Babe 5 for him to do all of that job. Abrante Feno Ada Gule looks like the guy. Now in this annotation, in the same game against Juve, Abrante Feno Orient Chimeni Babe a part of the back 3 with Rudiger Rada at right centre back and Hoyton at left centre back. Then Federico Valverde and Abrante Feno Ada Gule with Jude Bellingham doing the box to box job now. Rich Madrid will be very interesting.
And it looks like as a Carlo Ancelotti.
Yeah.
Of a senior man for no ball on the board.
Yeah, who's on no pay.
Who's on a senior man
of experience. And
the senior coaches, no.
I think that Xabi are here very good.
I prefer senior.
Yeah. I mean,
young players are feeling no
more. You can't fault him, and that's what has worked for him.
Ada Gula no.
Yeah.
Well, and
those has worked for him.
Carlo Ancelotti
away from that, I think that Xabi the profiling of the players to platform them.
Okay.
And I think that the only problem he may get will be Mbappe Vini. If you're starting Mbappe Vini as a top 2. Right. But who will work for who? That's the next problem. But with me survey side against Paris Saint-Germain, a big test. Now you're the Nico Williams Arakogu. And the story is done.
Sir, do you know I'm eminent?
Oh.
About saying,
oh, see a church weekend.
Oh, mini.
Yeah. So what's the issue? It came down to say, boy, no wanted assurances, legal assurances. Barça assurances.
Okay.
And media make out. Say, and you're born in the castle of Barcelona. Boy, idiot. Mujan is on Barça, Corner Munchani Cacorabo. Or Peso Barça. Or Besoni Lamine Mobo. Or Besoni Pedri Mobo. But over the day, Crana over 2-4. Even at 8-24, 23. And Felix Tainta is one of them. He is responsible for him legally. Plus them and papa. And once the advice came, and Ebeye Dings against them, he decided to stay with them. Barça will move on. See which Barça and club they worry too much about players at one time. So I'm sure that if you follow the media in the last few days, everything for Barca's camp is telling us say plan A, plan B after Nico. What do? This in front of Mundo is very exciting. It looks like she's Barca's next plan for who becomes the left winger for them. Ayabranche Luis Diaz. And in front of Mundo Deportivo, what they've written is that no conditions, sin condiciones. That's what they are saying. Say Luis Diaz ebeba Barca. Enya fena register me answer. Enya fena for cross him. He will be able to go in and go and play. Which, in Tiani say, in the last few days, Luis Garcia was able to attend Diogo Jota funeral maybe because also on one personal issues kakra. Now the agents have told Barcelona for one say Luis Diaz any Liverpool for any didn't come on. Liverpool for are clear in their minds that they need money for other operations. Now I think that one shiny year Diogo Jota free will affect Barca's ability to get Luis Diaz, and this is my explainer. Liverpool would have wanted to sell. Omni Napoli for him come out to an extensive length for Darwin Nunez. He may go, he may not go. The plan was to bring in Alexander Isak with Diogo Jota as part of the team. Preseason is starting next week. Now Diogo is gone. Liverpool yes for Alexander Isak. So man to Isak means that in their attack they have already lost Yenianu to Owo, and now they have to make sure they guard against Wodomowono. Barca for one said they will still push our branch friend Luis Diaz. I think it's no pen the bear coincidence for them because Liverpool for one year they will need money. The other option for Barcelona already, our branch friend Marcus Rashford, who may come in as the next player for them. Only see you did Madrid in common. We mentioned that it's going to be a 2-man attack, and Rodrigo Goes has not been playing, which the teams that are in and around them now want to ask questions.
The front page of Mundo, no?
Yeah.
The only enjoying the second part.
This side.
I know. Minim what Barcelona for no aye with the agents of Luis Diaz. But what Sancho and say Liverpool and money Diogo Jota
yeah.
They have assurances say Luis Diaz ever call Liverpool for no akacho me say obeso Kobasa. And he will put in a transfer request. Why? I don't know. But that is what the newspaper is reporting.
So it means that say Liverpool also pay can be every place.
If so, will be the transfer request back. Football and slavery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you have to put valuation on me. The first part is also saying is because Abranti and any release clause won't add anymore.
Yeah.
Omujiri said they can negotiate and get a price on Metimia.
Yeah.
And so even if FIFA go to the extent and say Owamra a betimi ama yaya evaluation of a player.
Yeah.
Into Sika Utiano, Stein Autono, and all those things, yes, saying about amount, and it's animal the age
on the price tag.
What you say? Into what Barcelona are saying is yes, Luis Diaz, what is good? And it's only release clause. It won't mean I say, oh, and send the contract, Mr. Everton 150 million. And no, then number two, they are saying, say, pay more information on more. Say Liverpool and money Diogo Jota, we are. They have the assurances from their manager say I'm entering the transfer request kotum. Now Obakaya, time na even Barcelona did Nico Williams chino. A drew point to be a Nico Stasa or Busa for assurances now. Deal start say yes still no. Mundo be reported say the agent of Luis Diaz after Barcelona say look, yeah na priority one. And a Nico ebe operation and obey priority one. Samujini samo have issues with him. Yeah they that's so. And I will make sure Abranten remember because Abranten catch him say he wants to come. Now, Rich, so we boom team now. Now your agents know about. Then I tell you, say, look, you call club no, almost on ton. So the best you can do is to tell your clients to put in a transfer request. And they will put in transfer request. The Liverpool will be forced to sell you. Then they will invite us to the table. Near when negotiate.
Who's the Luis Diaz and Gaza has been cleared up a Barca.
Oh yes.
And
South American boys.
Yeah. And the agents, like I was saying earlier on, I'm an clear say you have told Barcelona and Liverpool needs money. My only worry in analyzing that situation is say all the transfer requests they can accept it, and you do the evaluation. It can be 60 million, it can be 70 million. No man can Barca say, okay, so pay this percentage. And Liverpool can be hard because the idea of Major will say, Diogo Jota every mono. It means automatically almost losing one attacker.
Yeah.
Liverpool don't really value Darwin Nunez ahead of Luis Diaz.
Sure.
They value Luis Diaz ahead of Darwin. In Tommy and Cometon Darwin.
Darwin Nunez grade so on the
exactly. Omujana Monaco. So now when they have priority, only at the end of the bar, then that is also a baby commodity anymore. You ever said your request, especially with the money, anyhow, because I think that Luis Diaz also will not make it look too obvious. Me training formally.
Oh, but okay, transfer request is a professional, which is a mechanical.
Yeah.
Which a boom. Now I just want to go.
And you'll be on the
I just want to go. But me just say a basic asemwa. Now, what Mundo Mo can say? Assurance is not Nico open. Luis Diaz Empesa. To that extent, for sure contract in him and yes, he just want to come and play. And when him said, there comes some by now, a Besicana, Barca were ready to pay around almost 62 something for Luis Diaz, for Nico. It means that they have that kind of money. And if you push them to even 70, they may be able to say, oh, for Abranti Feno, Luis Diaz. How Liverpool go about the negotiations, but for me, my experience on the transfer market, it starts from the desire of the player.
Yeah.
Sure. Some Kobo club, and only initiating move Ayana Eddie, so wait me stop.
I'm a rapper.
And the cowboy, Barca for one plan throughout the transfer window. Who's a Barca player behind? They paint the first picture that Buena Pessoa Barca in the media, and a big step in trying to convince the club. Say, oh yeah, there say Uchama. I think say a menace one. I don't know how much time we have here. I wanted to run you on about your friend Mohamed Kudus. Kudus in Saint Seven. Ejabetom, it's ongoing. Ejabetom in the sense that West Ham wants money. They want a lot of money for Mohamed Kudus. The initial amount and Ankomo pay is somewhere around 85 million for Kudus. Toria must pay for us, we know where the 50 million come. 50 million normally come West Ham someone here. Rich, yesterday was widely reported. Say Kudus's agent, which is the roof agency, the only people who come officially is Toria Mospe, not any other team. Now, Rich, let me tell you what Thomas Frank and Toria Mospe Kudus for him to go there and what Chelsea's plan is. And credibly spoken to party, the explanation is giving me on this. Rich, Toria Mospe Mohamed Kudus, they say Uko Chelsea, your game time will be limited. There are a lot of star boys there. You're not going to be the star boy. And a bad thing for you to be the main figure of the team. At Toria Mospe, Song Heung-min is growing. The main guy anymore. At Chelsea, they literally value you as a second fiddle to a bench friend Cole Palmer. Only Cole Palmer second fiddle player. Only quality. And Kudus as it stands now, the agency are fully talking to Toria Mospe. Now, West Ham will have a key incident to play in this conversation. I didn't think that make us West Ham 100% Chelsea bar officially. Next can cost because the 50 million, someone is next one but 60 million. Not a Kudus, any of them Chelsea in common. You'll be forced to sell to Toria Mospe. As a Ghanaian, we will say Kudus a Toria Mospe. I think that their agents
now you want to buy this guy.
Kudus is not my car same way. My car same way. Kudus any replacement for Noni. They are two separate players.
I understand, but what I'm saying is now on your top priority. Now Noni is going to move his Skaba.
But I know disobedience. I know disrespect. Oh, Debbie, I don't
will be Kwanzan out this kind of
I know they know in
Chelsea in the Chrome on Monty.
Player team captain now call 1 and 1991. Player with you best can call. I mean, come and come on. Near West Ham for an air chain is to get a bidding war to get the most of the money out of Mohamed Kudus. Which, when Enzo Maresca was asked in our post-match press conference about Mohamed Kudus, a lot of conversations are going on behind. In fact, I can tell you today, Maresca and Kudus made in common personally with the boy, and he mentioned that on the boy even from Ajax Amsterdam. Now, the point of view of Chelsea in selling themselves to Mohamed Kudus, in selling the club to Mohamed